back in a taxi on our way to the airport to catch the flight to Chennai at 6:21 a.m. The alarm went off at 5:40. I probably went to bed, I guess, around 2 after I packed my bags. Uploaded this from last night. Social media, all those sorts of things. So, not enough sleep, but we'll figure that out. So it's 6:27 or 6:22 or whatever I just said, and it is beautiful. Kolkata is just waking up. You've got the chai man at the side of the road with the little ceramic orange cups or vessels which once used get left by the side of the road, smashed and recycled. These beautiful ceramic little pots which people drink out of, and they're basically a paper cup here. People just use them once and then I don't know what they happens to exactly, but I'm assuming they get used again in another way. But yeah, off to Chennai. That's the thing. The sun's just rising and I need to email my contact at CSK Chennai Super Kings to make sure they know I'm coming tonight. And that's kind of another part of the game, is that you're contacting so many people all the time, arranging all these little bits and pieces, that there's quite a lot to it. It's got to be said. I mean, I don't know what people think, but I think people assume it's relatively straightforward. And it's not too bad, but there's quite a lot of little bits that go into each single day, which is part of why I'm trying to do this, to remind myself really in the future all the bits you do to get to each game and make it all work. Right, we're just at a crossroads. What can we see? There's a man sat by his rickshaw. Looks like he's meditating. Right, this massive intersection. You have these huge intersections with people just stood in the middle, just having a chat. There's some dogs chasing each other around, a load of cabs. There's two gentlemen there with their carts. One looks like he's got teas, chai, the seller. The other one looks like he's selling fruit. And we've got these big billboards with all these very mussy looking men in their white tight vests, which is quite a look around here, and with the big bouffant kind of 80s permed hair. Lovely. We're zigzagging our way onto the highway. For some reason there's a barrier in the way that you have to navigate, and we're on the flyover. We're on our way to the airport. Just realised that I've forgotten to see the sculpture of Maradona. I'm just passing the Mogan, I think is the football team, one of the big football teams here in Kolkata. I'm just passing their stadium, and it's just reminding me that I didn't make my pilgrimage to the Maradona statue, which is soon going to be on my left hand side, so I'm looking out the window for it, but I'm gutted that I haven't had a chance to go and see it, as is right when you're in Kolkata. Yeah. I'm right in front of it. We've been stopped at the traffic lights, and there he is, this bronze looking sculpture, and he looks, well, taller than he would be in real life. I'm sure he's about 16 foot tall, but he looks also very, very short for a 16 foot tall man. His proportions look very compressed and compact. He's holding a gold World Cup, and again, that is absolutely massive. It's a big looking World Cup. But he's there, and there's some photos of him, some very nice photos of him behind, with some with a nice scarf on. He's got a little cheeky grin in the one to the bottom right, and he looks fantastic. What a tribute to the gentleman that was Diego Maradona. He's always been a bit of a hero for me, ever since '86, really, like most people, I guess. Absolutely love the guy. I think he was one of my founding realizations of life is completely unfair at times, and I think that's what every young 6-year-old needs, to to realise that what you've got to be in life is an artist. So Diego Maradona was part of the education. In '88 we had Ben Johnson at the Olympics. So it was a big couple of years in my early formative time, realising that the world is at times not what you want it to be. So hopefully the next time I'm back in Kolkata, which should be in a few weeks' time, I'll go and actually touch the man's magic left foot, which I would assume here must be about 20 metres long, but we'll see. Anyway, getting towards the airport finally. Well, not even finally, we're making good time. And then got to go through the check-in process, which is typically a little tricky here, as memory serves. You've got to have your boarding pass to get in the airport. Security's quite tight, so you've got to make sure of that, which means there's often quite big queues to get into the airport. And then just the process itself, the check-in itself, can be a little bit protracted, but let's see. Hopefully we've got a nice smooth operation and we're on our way to Chennai very, very soon. So the airport's been as mental as I half thought it might be. All started off very, very nicely and very easy, but then I got to check in and I paid for 2 bags because I thought my weight wasn't okay, so I bought a second bag. And what it actually means is that you can have 2 bags of the same, totaling the same amount of weight. You're 15 kilograms for internal flights here in India, but you can't have 30 kilograms like I was expecting. I thought I could easily do that, but anyway, so there was an issue there. And then of course you just get into the chaos of the security, where chaos really reigns, and it's okay if you are the chaos or you're very much amongst it, but if you're on the periphery, which most people are, then it's just an absolute shit show. And for example, where you were going in and having your bag, putting your bag on the conveyor belt to go through the x-ray machine, they had the tape, the queuing tape, leading everyone in, but there was no exit, so everyone would get in, all bunch up and put their bags on, and then not be able to get back, so you'd have to push your way back through the whole crowd of people because it was very tight to get actually through the security itself. So that took quite a while. And then even when you're putting your bag on this conveyor belt, they had a system where, well, there was no system really, but basically all the bags were bunching up, so you couldn't actually get anywhere with it. You were just, if you had to just push your bag along, you had to push your bag along to the end of the conveyor belt to put it on, making sure nobody else did that, so you actually got your bag into the security. So that was interesting. And then of course I'm carrying my stretcher bars. I have to carry my wooden stretcher bars, which are 1 metre long, so I had to put my bag through in one conveyor belt and go through, come back out and go through another conveyor belt with the stretcher bars, and then I had a belt on for my back, like a back support thing for when I'm sitting down for so long, and that had to go for a separate one as well. So I had to go in and out of the security 3 times, different checks, which seems a little bit preposterous. But what I did learn is part of the whole chaos is that in the chaos, pushing in really rules. Like if you can push in, it's almost welcomed, and it's very much part of how things work. And there was a guy I was noticing who was doing it expertly. He was stealthily at one point just behind me, very close, and then within a couple of seconds he was 6 people ahead of me and had his things go through the security. He was an absolute expert, a master of Indian airports and everything everybody should aspire to be. And that's actually what I did in the end, because I was so frustrated with the 3 times having to check in different security pieces or go through different ones different times, that I just got my way to the front and put the stuff on the conveyor belt and then ducked under the tape and followed suit. So yeah, it's been a tricky experience so far. And then this flight to Chennai wasn't actually on the departure board, so all the other flights, they're there on the departure board with their times and destinations, and our one wasn't for some reason. So again, a slightly disconcerting experience where you've got to ask around and hope whoever you've talked to has got the right information to get you on the flight. So it's been a challenging morning, and I'm just queuing on the air gate to get onto the the plane. It's about 2.5 hour flight down to Chennai, and then to tonight's hotel, stretch tonight's canvas, and get ready for tonight's game. We've got Mumbai Indians, so I'm really excited. That's going to be Rohit Sharma playing against CSK, so it's going to be absolutely massive. Can't wait for that. So I'm on my way to the CSK stadium. In the back of today's taxi to the stadium, you can hear these magnificent tunes. And on a motorbike just next to me, you've got a family of 3, dad riding, son on the front, daughter on the back, son and daughter in matching white kind of dresses with these beautiful pink flowers dotted on. Chennai is a very colourful place. Lots of yellow everywhere, CSK's colour, but really tons of colour, but it's so bright. It's 32 degrees, it's very warm, but it's there's a real push to it, there's a real energy to it. So we're getting close to the stadium. I'm not sure how close I can actually get. Sometimes they stop you in about half a mile before you get there, so you have to walk the last little bit, but we'll see. But the turnaround from getting in the hotel to actually getting out the door was not very productive. I just had to sleep, and I'm going to stretch today's canvas at the ground, which is okay. It's not what I really tend to do, but it will work today, no problems. But I didn't have time to do too much because honestly I just needed to sleep, and that's important. So I've slept, feel a bit better for that, and ready for tonight's game. And apparently there's also going to be a little opening ceremony, like a smaller version of what happened last night, so that'll be kind of cool to see. So let's see what happens tonight.